I'm going to go ahead and get started today. We do value your time, and we know that things are crazy busy this time of year, especially with everything going on in the pandemic. So we're going to go ahead and just make sure that we're prompt and get rolling. We do have this session recording today. So I just want to say welcome to the BigTeams virtual conference. If you have been attending today's sessions, you are familiar with the format and process. Today, we're going to examine the 2021 development ideas and where we see BigTeams moving in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and do a quick introduction on some of our team members here, and then go over a bit of information before we really get off and running today. So we do have our team listed here. My name is Melissa Trammell. I'm the Director of Product Strategy and Operations. I will be your host. My co-host today is going to be Mackenzie Ansueto. And we also have on the call today Alex Hyman. He is our Customer Success Manager. We've got Bradley Bestick. He is our Business Operations Manager. Kate Crabb, she is a School Development Associate. Jennifer Moats, she is our VP of School Development. And if there are any other members, I see we've got Kim Reinick, our COO, and we've got Philip Troughton, who is our business analyst, who also has a foot in the development world and helps us out with development ideas and moving forward with product strategy. So a few things. To improve the quality of the meeting today, I placed everybody on mute. So at the end, when I open it up for questions, we'll have a QA session. Make sure that you unmute yourself before you ask the question. If you are not comfortable asking the question verbally, feel free to use the chat window. It's located in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. This is also going to be available for you to post questions in during the session. So if during the presentation you think of any questions, just pop a question into the chat box, and then one of my coworkers will be happy to answer that, and then we will touch base on those live during the QA session as well. Also, after the meeting, you're going to be receiving a survey to rate the items discussed on the session today. The rating system is a 1 through 9 scale, which I will show you as we discuss each of these items. So as we talk through each item that is listed on that survey, I'm going to show you what the survey actually looks like and how that rating system works. So without further ado, let's get going. So the items here today are the large proposed items. These are things that we have taken from customer feedback. They are also items that we have thought and discussed about, and items we feel that might be of interest for you and helpful to mitigate some of the time that you spend in front of the computer or doing paperwork, and get you back out on the court or the field or in the classroom to help out your student athletes and your activities participants. So this is just a brief screen with the bullet points on it. I'm going to actually navigate away from this slide here in just a moment to go through each of the items in the survey, and we're going to touch on each one of these different components. Before we get rolling into that, we're going to go ahead and do a quick raffle. Mackenzie, who is our raffle lucky participant today that is going to receive this item that we...
All right, let's give this item to Bobby.
All right, let's see what you win. $100 off. So that could be $100 off an upgrade, off of a subscription. We will reach out to you and we'll get you the information for that, but congratulations. So we are going to look at this survey, and I'm going to scroll all the way to the top here. So when you receive this survey, the first section is just going to be your basic contact information. The second section is really what we're focusing on today, to give you some info on each of these items. Okay, so the first item is the health screening questionnaire. With everything that has been going on in today's society, obviously it's been brought to the spotlight that we're doing surveys for student participants, coaching staff, to fill out this health screening questionnaire to really get a feel for if they're either having any symptoms or have been in close proximity to somebody that has tested positive for COVID-19. In forward thinking though, I think this is going to change some of the ways that we approach looking at health and safety for our student athletes and our activity participants in the future. So instead of just creating a COVID questionnaire, we're really looking at creating a health screening questionnaire that's going to collect data that'll be useful for all different types of contagious illnesses. So the flu, strep, mono, all of those illnesses that can take out a good chunk of your team in one fell swoop, since a lot of team members, you know, they congregate outside of school, they have their close-knit groups, and we know how detrimental that can be in the long run. So in addition to that, there would be an update to the student portal that would allow that student to log into their account within Student Central and fill out this survey prior to showing up to participate for practice and or play for that day. Another enhancement that we would like to add and can see adding into the system with this moving forward would be setting up an early warning notification system. So essentially, this would let you know that you may need to take action on any upcoming events because your percentage of a certain high percentage of your team is out for some type of contagious illness, and that you may need to make action, whether it's a postponement, a cancellation, something of that nature. So those are really the big items within the health questionnaire. Before I move forward, I do want to point out we've got the scale that's 1 to 9. You'll rate, there's 9 different items. You're going to rate each of them 1 out of 9. Each item can only have a number once. So out of those 9 items, you're going to be giving 1 item a 1, 1 item a 4, and so on and so forth. That 1 is yes, you want that item added right away. And that 9 is this can wait, but it's a nice to have item that you see is going to be important. So that's going to be the format for the survey. So we're just going to move down here a little bit. So I'll touch on the events here in just a moment. One of the items is copying schedules. So copying schedules right now, you can do a mirror for the next upcoming year, but what you can't do is do a quickly mass copy from one team level down to another team level. So let's say you wanted to completely copy all of baseball varsity to your JV baseball team. Right now, you would have to do that an event at a time, and you know that takes time. So we would look to be adding the copying schedules to move it from one team to another easily with maybe 1 or 2 clicks from your main screen. The next item is going to be from our slide is event makeover. There's a lot of event items on here, so I'm just going to go through these. I'll talk about them and then I'll show you where they're at on this actual list. So we've got addressing current issues and making events more like Google Calendar. So we'd look to address some common issues reported by the users and then enhance the system by doing the following. So adding the ability to edit an event series. Right now we've got practices, school, and other. And in doing this, we would also add recurring sports events. So this would allow you to do an entire update to all events in the series, just a single event in a series, or only the events moving forward in a series, like you can see in other calendar functions now. We would also look to add an all-day or multi-day events, as well as add event end times. We would also like to add the ability for inline editing, allowing you to make changes on your main event screen. And we would also like to accommodate more flexibility in event location by adding a URL for event location, as well as update the cancellation feature to include changing an event to be virtual or hybrid. So basically that would allow you to change that and put that URL for the location if it's going to be a live streamed event. This would be important moving forward outside of the pandemic world as well, because there are schools that have been taking advantage of streaming for quite a while. So giving you that ability to have a hybrid event, regardless of what the global situation is, you'd be able to do that moving forward and put in your live streaming URL as well as the actual address for where the physical location would be. So these items on here are listed out a little bit separately. So we've got the virtual hybrid events here. We've got the copying schedules item here, which we touched on just a moment ago. We have event improvements. So this is the changing of adding the event series, recurring sports events, and all-day, multi-day events, as well as adding the event end times. And the inline edit option is below that. This would be when you are on your main screen, you would be able to click on any of these items on this screen and edit it right there on the screen without having to go into a large pop-up modal to be able to get the changes that you want. Let's see. So the next item on here is coaches' permissions. This would be allowing coaches the ability to do more in the system to help out athletic directors, athletic secretaries, such as giving them permissions to reserve facilities, add or edit practice schedules and events, and build or edit rosters. So we've heard that a lot. We understand that putting some of that responsibility on the coaches is a need, and coaches have asked you all for that. And being able to allow them to do that within the system would be beneficial for everybody. So that is another added feature that we are looking to add. The next item on the list is team profile. So we're going to move back up here. So we've taken your feedback. We know that there's been some changes earlier in the year, and we understand there's some things that as customers have gotten back to us, they'd like to have changed. So one of the things we're proposing to enhance this and make that easier is from the Teams picker, pulling the actual season filter out from that Teams picker. So what we're proposing is that season filter would default to the current season, and that will change throughout the year. So as you go from fall to winter, it will automatically update and change to winter being your default for that season. Then in the team picker, you'll then have your gender level sport listed in there to help narrow those items down. Just a quick pro tip, that box is searchable. So if you click in the box and you start typing, the teams will go ahead and start narrowing down based on what you're typing into that text field. Let's see. We'd also like to look to update teams to automatically pull forward indefinitely so that you can schedule as far out as you want to. So currently, every year on January 1, there's a rollover process that pushes the teams forward into the next school year. But a lot of times you have your schedules set for 2 or 3 year periods for whenever your district schedules come out for the year. So what we're looking to do is once a team is created within the system, it will then be in the system indefinitely for you until you make a change to essentially have that team removed. If at any time you add a new team moving forward, then that team would then be in the system indefinitely moving forward until you deleted that system or deleted that team from the system. So that's the ideas for the team profile enhancements. I'm gonna pause real quick and we're gonna do another raffle.
Yep, so, I was just gonna remind you. I was waiting for you to come to a stop.
Who we got?
All right, let's give this one to Travis.
All right, let's see what Travis is gonna win. A charging pad. So that's a QI phone charging pad. Very useful. Love mine. So hopefully you will be getting a lot of use out of that.
Awesome.
So we're gonna hop over to the last item on here. And for many of our users that are starting to branch out into Student Central and they've already been utilizing Schedule Star and BT Fan Central, creating a combined user experience across the board is our ultimate goal to make it unified. One step in that direction would be to update the user experience and utilize an improved streamlined workflow so that way the look and feel within each platform is similar. So in that, it would essentially be giving the platforms in each area a bit of a facelift so that they look and feel the same. So that would be another item for you all to vote on from the 9 items here. So those are the different items that we have listed on here. Some other items that have been discussed are exporting or importing schedules from other systems. So we've talked about that a bit. We've got that noted down for us to take back from some of the feedback we've had today. But I'm going to go ahead and open it up to any questions that anybody has on any of the items we've discussed. If you need any clarification, or any tips or tricks that you need, or any other new ideas that we probably have not discussed here, but you may think it is a big item for you that we need to go ahead and look at and address. So really, this is kind of your time to give us some feedback and let us know what your thoughts are.
I have one. When using Planet HS, one thing I found and with HIPAA is I've assigned my coaches, and maybe you're covering under this with the experience. So I've assigned, like, say, a junior high girls basketball coach to see, but they can go in, when they go into Planet HS, they are seeing all of the rosters for all the basketball teams instead of the ones. I mean, I went in and assigned each kid to the team that they were supposed to be, but they're still seeing all the players instead of just theirs.
So you are meaning they will have access to see any of the teams at the school. What they cannot do is add, edit, or change, or actually access any of this actual students' information. So the roster itself can be viewed by any coach at the school, just as if they were to go to your school website and see a roster if it's posted. But they cannot access any of the pertinent personal information for that individual. So if that coach is only coach of, women's basketball, she cannot click on any of the men's basketball athlete names and see their personal information.
Okay.
So that's where you're going to be covered with that FERPA HIPAA.
Okay.
Right there.
And I wasn't sure. The coach just told me, and then he's like, I can see everybody. And I said, well, I thought they were just going to see their team. And I thought that, just make it.
So they're going to be able to see. So there's certain instances, and not every school experiences that, but there's instances where you have crossover athletes, or let's say you've got a coach we'll stay with basketball because that's the season we're in right now. And they also teach, world history, and they want to know what sport a certain athlete in their class is, participating in to notify their coach of a behavioral issue. They can come in and see, okay, they're on this team. I need to reach out to coach so-and-so and let them know. So that's really the only reason behind what rosters they're able to see that a student might be on. But they're only going to be able to access that from this page or narrowing down filters on the forms grid view. But like I said, they won't physically be able to click on a student's name and see their personal information. So what I mean by that is, let's see. Alex, what's a good school with some, we've got maybe this one of our test schools, I think. Yeah. So on this particular case, I'm logged in as an administrator, but from a coach's perspective, if they're on this page, they're not going to see a plus sign next to every single student. They're only going to see it next to a student they have permission to access. So if they tried to click on a name here for a student they don't have permission to, it's not going to take them anywhere to see any information. Same is true on a roster. If they tried to click on a kid's name in the roster, they're not going to be able to see their information.
Okay, thanks for clarifying that one.
Sure. Any other questions?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just have a comment, and I'm sure Alex will cringe when he hears my name, but I would love to get in the Student Central, that messaging feature was one of the biggest features that had a bunch of us in our area sign on to when we had issues with why paperwork wasn't complete or what needed to be done so it could be completed.
Yep.
With that not working, that I would love to see that actually start functioning before I'd love to see any other enhancements in any.
Yep. So Those two, Bobby, just to update you, those two items are worked on round the clock by two of our developers. So literally, and I do literally mean round the clock, we have a developer on US time frame and we have a developer that's in India time frame. And they are constantly working on this around the clock to get those particular messaging systems up and running. What I can tell you is that there are certain text messages that do go out and there are some emails that go out. So we're getting there. It's just going through and testing all of the different processes and getting them up back onto production functioning correctly. But that is a daily work that we are constantly working on.
That's awesome to hear. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions or anything we haven't touched on that you guys think might be a big item that we haven't already addressed or listed in any of those potential items today? All right, well, I'm going to open it up to my team. Team, is there anything that you can think of, tips, tricks from earlier sessions today that we may want to go over on this call? I think one thing I do want to point out, Jen helped us out and some of the other participants from the call earlier this morning helped us out. We do want to add event end times to the schedule to where it's actually more prominent within the schedule. But for those that may not know already, you can add an end time to an event. In order to do that, you would want to edit the event and go to, usually you do either facility or transportation, and you can change and add an actual end time here for that particular event. And then it won't show up on your fan page. So with the adding of an end time for an event, the update would include not only adding it to your main event page, so adding it to here, but it would also then add it to your BigTeams fan site so that that end time would also show up there. If you're running a report though, let's say you are needing to add end times and disseminate that information out, once you add that end time in the facilities or transportation, you can come to basic reporting and do event reports. Update your report time to master schedule. This was pointed out as well, logo color reports, but you want to do the spreadsheet report. And I go ahead and do print notes into part-time so I can have all of that information on there. And once I click print, it's going to give me my report and it does have that end time on there. So if you're needing that now, we do kind of have a bit of a workaround for it. It's just not in the forefront how we would like it to display for you all. Anything else that you can think of? All right, well, I think we're gonna do one more raffle and then we will wrap up. So Mackenzie, if you will tell me who our raffle person is, that would be great.
Let's go Melinda.
All right, Melinda, let's see what you're gonna get. Swag bag. Awesome.
Got it.
All right, so we're gonna flip back over here. We just did our raffle. So I just wanna say thank you all. We do understand your time is very important, and we appreciate you guys joining in with us today. We've thoroughly enjoyed having these sessions. Just a quick note and reminder, you will be getting an email with that survey in it. Please keep an eye out and fill that out as soon as possible. We are going through those actively and looking at how they're being rated overall. Make sure you reach out to us so you can learn more about how to save up to $300 on your upgrades and new purchases. So a lot of exciting things. We are excited and ready for 2021 to get here. I'm sure everybody else is. And again, just want to say thank you for your time today. And thanks to our BigTeams staff for joining the call and being available for everybody. I appreciate it.
I just posted the link in the chat as well. If you have time right now,
Perfect.
you guys can fill that out. But it's in the chat.
Great note, Mackenzie. She added that link there. You can simply click on it or copy and paste it into your browser. That'll take you straight to the survey. And then we will also be sending out an email for you guys as well. So thank you guys. We will have this recording available, and I appreciate your time today.